All right. Let's talk about the president's big speech this week in which he said that we are entering a new phase in the war on terror. Take a look at the president's comments.
Now, beyond Afghanistan, we must define our effort not as a boundless global war on terror, but rather as a series of persistent, targeted efforts to dismantle specific networks of violent extremists that threaten America.
Senator Durbin, the president said wars must end, but the fact is the Cold War lasted for 40 years. Isn't there a danger of declaring an end to this war too soon?
You know, James Madison was quoted by the president. He basically said, if you want to preserve freedom, it's difficult to do if you have a continuous war. What the president is saying to us,
would you have said that during the Cold War, sir?
Well, I can tell you that we had to stop and think many times during the Cold War. Can I go back to the McCarthy era and talk about the witch hunts for those who were thought to be communists? You just find in a warlike atmosphere that you end up compromising some basic values and basic freedoms and liberties. That's what the president reminded us. Now, I'm not going to take lightly the terrorism threat against the United States, but if we are constantly thinking of this in the context of war, we stand the very real risk of doing things which compromise our values and freedoms.
Senator Graham, what is your biggest practical worry about the president saying that we are in a new phase and in some sense laying out an exit strategy for the global war on terror?
At a time we need resolve the most, we're sounding retreat. Our enemies are emboldened all over the planet. Al-Qaeda in Iraq is coming back with vengeance. In Libya, you saw Al-Qaeda groups in Yemen and Libya working together. Our friends are uncertain. Syria is falling apart. We're talking about helping the rebels, but doing nothing about it. Iran is marching toward a nuclear weapon. The challenge of our time is to keep weapons of mass destruction out of the hands of radical Islamists, and we're failing in my view. Syria is about to fall apart. The chemical weapons there are enough to kill thousands, if not millions of Americans can be compromised. Israel is very threatened by what's happening in Syria. Iran is marching toward a nuclear weapon, and we show this lack of resolve, talking about the war being over. What do you think the Iranians are thinking? At the end of the day, this is the most tone-deaf president I've ever could imagine, of making such a speech at a time when our homeland is trying to be attacked literally every day, changing the standards of when you can go after somebody with a drone. It has to be a continuing, imminent threat to the American people with no chance of civilian casualties, virtually no chance of civilian casualties. I think we're diminishing our national security infrastructure. Sequestration is dismantling the military at a time we need it the most. I've never been more worried about our national security than I am right now, and this speech did not help.
Gentlemen.